Good news is it seems like my webcam was working when I recorded it last night, so we'll see how it goes the next time. But for right now, we look ahead to another bit of news and your daily dose of wrestling content. As we saw in another update from this weekend's house shows, or the house shows that we recently saw, it is that Bray Wyatt finally returned to the ring. Bray Wyatt fought Jinder Mahal in an open challenge match. Jinder took exception to the fact that he was not included in the Intercontinental title match at the Madison Square Garden event this past Monday night, and issued an open challenge to the roster, which was accepted by the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt no, I'm only kidding. Bray Wyatt won. It was what we expected, but it was good to see Bray Wyatt back in the ring. Bray has not been in the ring in a televised fashion since his return at Extreme Rules. This was actually Bray Wyatt's first match back in WWE since WrestleMania 37, the fateful night when he lost to Randy Orton in that clusterfuck with Randy and Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. The likely first televised matchup of Bray's second run with WWE will be at Royal Rumble against L.A. Knight in what is set to be the first ever pitch black match. And the pitch black match is set to be, well, number one, a new gimmick match within WWE, but it is uncertain what the pitch black match will be. I could see that maybe being something of a blindfold type match or something of that variety, but as far as any specifics, there really isn't a lot known about the new gimmick match set to appear at the Royal Rumble. Excuse me. Speaking of the Intercontinental title match from the Madison Square Garden event, it was a 5-way ladder match that was set to include Ricochet, but Ricochet got shook up during the Massacre on 34th Street street fight this past week on SmackDown, and was out of the event because, from what I understand, there was basically an occurrence during the Massacre on 34th Street street fight. There was an occurrence during that event that saw Ricochet need to get his head, glued shut. So I hope nothing but the best for Ricochet, as he probably got a nasty cut. Well, it must have been a nasty cut, otherwise he wouldn't need his head glued shut. But I hope the best for Ricochet on his recovery. And also, speaking of something nasty, we saw a nasty fall during the 5-way ladder match, including Santos Escobar, who seemed to tweak his knee during the match and was removed from the match after the fact as a precautionary measure, it seems, because of his nasty fall during the match after hitting a Hurricane Rana off the ladder. It wasn't off the ladder. He Hurricane Rana'd someone off the ladder. And it was right after that he got hit by Kofi with a double stomp, and we realized the injury after Kofi nailed him with the double stomp. I don't know if it came off the double stomp from Kofi. I don't know if it came off the landing of the Hurricane Rana off the ladder. It likely was because of the Hurricane Rana off the ladder and not Kofi's move, but all I know is I hope that Santos Escobar is okay, because he definitely bigged up his first match in Madison Square Garden as a part of the main roster. But nothing but the best to both Ricochet and Santos Escobar, who seem to be nursing some injuries. Speaking of nothing but the best too, WWE seems to have their eyes on Casey Navarro, or we thought they had their eyes on Casey Navarro, because Casey Navarro was recently a part of the tryouts within WWE, or WWE held, where Vincent and Dutch, as well as Kylie Ray, who ended up being featured in a recent episode of Main Event as Brianna Ray, fighting Dana Brooke. And it is unclear what we will see. I think, from what I remember, we saw Brianna Ray, Kylie Ray on Main Event, and we also saw Vincent and Dutch on an episode of NXT in the crowd. The only person we have not seen is Casey Navarro from that tryout, as Casey Navarro's tryout was bigged up, and it was mentioned alongside Vincent and Dutch and Kylie Ray. But the only person that has not been mentioned since then is Casey Navarro. But the one thing that we do know is Casey Navarro has put out on his socials that he is asking fans to let him know what promotions they want to see him work for in 2023, saying that January and April have been filling up quick. It does not necessarily mean that WWE said no. This could be WWE's way of telling Casey Navarro to get his name out there and get some experience, because that is something that WWE does let talent do, or tell talent to do, as a way to get their name and get more attention, or get their name out there and get more seasoning and attention before they swoop in and peel them off the independents and bring them into NXT. But who knows what's going to happen, but I do think that Casey Navarro is somebody to keep an eye on in 2023. Speaking of something to keep an eye on in 2023, it is a subject of conversation from yesterday's news video, where we spoke about the final bye-bye retirement tour of the Great Muta. And Great Muta will be having his retirement tour not just in the month of January, but also in the month of February, because February 21st, I believe it's February 21st, I'll look at the date before we end it, but Pro Wrestling Noah will house the return of the Stinger. Actually, this says from Wrestle Talk, this says that the Sting will that apparently I heard it was in February from the news video that I watched, but this says it's actually going to be in January, on January 22nd. So I will do a little bit of research and do a separate video going over the expectations for the Great Muta Final Bye-Bye Tour, Retirement Tour, in 2023, in January. So that is new content that you could expect to see coming in the new year. but I will clear up any circumstances that are questionable within the ranks of this retirement tour for the Great Muta. Either way, in 2023, Sting and Darby Allin will be a part of the retirement tour, working a 6-man tag team match with the Great Muta. And the opponents for Muta and Sting and Darby Allin are yet to be determined. But either in January or February, it's unclear which one it is, as I'm getting locked into Tequila Sunrise. I don't know how I missed that. Let's get back to the retirement tour after, or in a second. Let's get back to the retirement tour in a second. The fact of the matter is, that is not all the news, as we do have another subject of conversation, and that is that NWA star and I believe NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Kerry Morton is on the radar of the WWE and AEW, but Kerry Morton has re-upped with the NWA. Kerry Morton is one of the hottest prospects in wrestling right now, and is going to be under contract with the National Wrestling Alliance for the next 18 months, as Kerry Morton himself has went on record to say that Kerry Morton has went on record to say that he is going to finish college, and his new contract actually ends when he finishes college in 18 months. So it would allow him to live up to his expectations and his promise to not just his parents, but also his grandparents, to finish college. And like I said, I will do a video later on detailing the Great Muta Retirement Tour, which starts on January the 1st with the new year from Pro Wrestling Noah at Budokan Hall. And the headline match from that event is Great Muta versus Shinsuke Nakamura, or one of the headline events. So before the end of the year, I will put that up. And we will go through what to expect from the Great Muta's retirement tour in 2023. But with that being said, these have been my thoughts on wrestling, and I will see you in the next video, because I am signing off.